The Undead Celluloid Society welcomes you into another podcast. I'm your host, Michael,
And I'm Rachel.
and today we are covering the 2019 film Happy Death Day to You. Rachel, why don't you describe the synopsis of this movie this time?
So basically, if you listen to our last podcast, you know that Tree, the main female character, she wakes up on her birthday over and over again, and she keeps getting killed, and she has to figure all of that out until she finally figures out who her killer is, and then ends that loop. So this movie is basically the same thing, except we figure out the reason behind why she was stuck in that time loop. Her boyfriend's roommate and his science friends built a machine that messed with the space-time continuum, basically, and they didn't really know what it did. They're kind of, just messing around, and they throw her back into the same time loop, except she's in a different universe. So, some things are the same, some things are different. So, her killer's different, and the small details are just, they're different. Her mom's not dead. So it's basically her just trying to figure it all out again, and the science guy is trying to figure out how to send her back to her own dimension. And that's it.
Yeah, it's more of the same with the time loop. They do add some differences with multiverse theory, so this movie can get kind of confusing for some people that are not well acquainted with that.
Yeah, and honestly, I was thinking about this during the movie. Do they, like the producers and directors and stuff, I wonder how much they look into all this theory stuff to, put all of this together, because, obviously, who knows if this stuff actually is real and is possible, but, the things that they were doing was, it makes sense to my brain. I don't know if that's saying what that's saying, or I'm just super gullible, but it made sense to my brain. So it really makes you wonder, how much they actually research all this stuff.
So the movie's not really doing anything groundbreaking by any means, because multiverse theory has been discussed in a lot of different mediums.
Right.
Family Guy has done it by this point. Dragon Ball Z has done it by this point.
All the Marvel movies.
Yeah, the Marvel movies. This movie came out the same year as Endgame.
Oh, okay.
But there's a lot of, but in the comics too, there's the same stuff. So multiverse theory isn't something new. It is. I will say it's kind of unique that we are thrown into that. That's the way this movie works. Because if we just kind of went back into Tree's first day and just relived it like we did in the first movie, it kind of would get kind of stale.
Oh yeah.
We don't see a lot of the same stuff. It's implied that she is reliving the same day, but she's now trying to learn physics and
quantum
mechanics. Sorry. She is trying to learn all of this stuff to help her science friends figure out how to work the device, which is called Sissy.
Yes. I don't remember what it stands for, but
I don't remember what it stands for either. Sissy is good enough for me.
Yeah.
The movie, I think the movie is a really good companion piece to Happy Death Day. I think that it adds a lot more to the Tree character. I thought that the Tree character was pretty fleshed out in the first movie. I thought that she had, a lot of character development, and I didn't think there was a lot really anywhere for her to go.
Right, yeah.
And then this movie does kind of, it helps with that development because it throws her in a different universe where her mom's alive. She's not used to that. At first she wants to stay in that universe. The trade-off is that her mom is alive, but Carter is dating Danielle. And
Yeah, the sorority head bitch.
Yes, the head bitch. I mean, she's not as bitchy in this timeline as she is in the original. I mean, she is.
So in the first one, at least if she's she's a bitch, but at least she's genuine, right? In the second one, she's super she's super nice at first, but then you come to find out she's cheating on Carter.
Yeah, she is cheating on him.
And she is just using him to help her with her schoolwork. So she's fake nice. At least in the first one, she was genuinely she was who she was.
Yeah, yeah. You do have a good point there. She is kind of fake nice. She's pretty much the same character. She's very all about herself. Another big difference is Lori is not the killer in this timeline.
No, it's the professor / doctor.
Yeah, the doctor that Tree was having an affair with, but Tree is not having an affair with him in this timeline. Lori is.
Right.
So yeah, there's the differences do add up, and they do make it a worthwhile watch. I think the perfect way to watch this film is if you've just watched Happy Death Day right before it.
Yeah.
As a double feature, this is a perfect double feature.
Mm-hmm.
It's wacky. It doesn't really lean into more of the horror elements that the first one did, in my opinion. I mean, there is still a lot of killing. There's a lot of blood, but it's mostly played for laughs, which is, I mean, that is a niche in the horror genre that, comedy horror, lightheartedness. So, I mean, that's not a knock against the film. I would just temper your expectations of as the movie got more wacky in Happy Death Day, it just takes that wackiness and goes up by 10 by introducing multiverse and playing it for laughs. I mean, Tree doesn't get murdered in this timeline. She kills herself every time.
And in very creative ways.
Yeah. So name some of those ways for us, Rachel.
What, she electrocutes herself in the bathtub.
Yes.
She jumps out of a plane in a bikini, no parachute, right in front of Danielle and Carter making out.
Flipping them off.
Yeah, flipping them off. It's kind of like a fuck you, Danielle. And then what'd she do? She runs into the last time she killed herself, which she wasn't planning to. She ran into the substation.
Yeah, to turn off the machine.
She turned off the machine and kill herself. Oh man, she jumps down the clock tower, which
she did. She hung herself in the first one.
Yeah, she hung herself in the first one to save Carter. But oh man, what were the other? But it honestly, it just kept getting wackier and wackier. Oh yeah, and then the wood chipper. She runs into a wood chipper, and then we're just thinking can you not just would it not just be easier to get killed instead of finding all these creative and probably super painful ways of killing yourself? Why you gotta run through a wood chipper?
There's a lot less painful ways to kill yourself. I don't know. I think drinking Drano was pretty brutal too. Yeah, because she wakes up gasping for air.
Yeah, and I like how they when she electrocuted herself, she woke up and her hair was like a frizz, it was like she literally had blown up like a cartoon character.
That's a good point, because I mentioned this in our last podcast of how she had that trauma when she was at the hospital, and the doctor told her that she should be dead, and then they never really touched on it again. They do touch on that more in this one. Tree notices towards the end of the film that she's getting weaker and weaker every time she dies. So she is really paying for her actions. It's not a clean slate every time in that sense. Her body is suffering from that. So I would think that by the end, she doesn't want to do another reset because she thinks that it could be her last time.
Yeah.
That she could be dying. Yeah. I'm curious to see what long-term effects that would have on her, if the series had continued.
Yeah, if it would actually end up really killing her or something. But I like how with her character development, the movie development is like, keeping on pace with her as far as, she's not just they put some thought behind it. She's not just dying over and over again. Like, she's suffering from the consequences of all these. So the the I guess the plot, not the plot, I can't think of the word right now, but the plot is developing along with her instead of just staying stagnant, instead of just going through the motions. So that's one aspect of the movie that I really liked.
The movie does a good fake out too. At first, that you think that in standard sequel fashion, you would think that it would deteriorate in quality and just kind of repeat what they did in the first one. And it kind of starts out that way with Ryan, the roommate to Carter, waking up in a time loop, and he goes through it once. And you're thinking, oh, this movie is just going to be following Carter. Or not Carter, Ryan is going to be following Ryan the whole time, reliving his days. But it doesn't do that. It does that for the first 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
And then
the person who's trying to kill him is himself.
Yes, it's a different multiverse Ryan that wants to stop him from using the machine to screw up space-time continuum.
Yeah, and they never touch on how the other Ryan came to their universe. Like, they never touch on it.
Yeah, because when Tree gets to her different dimension, she mentions, is there another me around? And that Ryan says that's impossible, that if you are in this dimension, your other self would have been kicked to a different one. So that is kind of a plot hole.
Yeah.
But I think it is a good fake out. I do like the switch up of characters. There's the one thing that I could do without is, and I think it's doing this to try to make the film more dramatic at certain times or to get a laugh out of you. But there's a lot of slow-mo shots in this film. The one that made me laugh was when Carter and Danielle kiss, and it plays that tragic music in the background. That was pretty funny. But there's a lot more slow-mo shots.
Yeah.
Tree jumping out of the plane. There's
that one I can understand,
yeah,
the dramatic effect because she's flipping them off. But yeah, no, the other ones
when they're fighting off the security guards before the machine goes off, that's a slow-mo shot. There's a lot of slow-mo in this. Yeah. Kind of like a Happy Death Day 300.
Yeah. Or what year did Deadpool come out?
Deadpool, the first one?
Yeah.
The first one came out in 2016.
Okay, because it reminds me of all of his fight scenes that go through slow-mo.
Yeah.
That's what that reminds me of, and I was wondering if they were, like, piggybacking off of that, but I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, because there wasn't a lot of slow-mo shots in the first movie, from what I remember.
Right, no, there wasn't, but for dramatic effect.
I think it was to play more for laughs and stuff.
Yeah.
This one is a lot more lighthearted than the first one.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they were trying, because the first one and the second one, because they were similar in the way that, she has to figure out how to get back or stop the time loop. Instead of just going with the thriller, they wanted to change up like the genre so that it wasn't like you're watching the same exact movie.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they do still stick with like I said earlier with gore. There's plenty of deaths. There's stabbings, shootings. The plot twist with the doctor and his wife at the end.
Yes.
So I do like that characters. The biggest strength for me in this film is the side characters. They all return. Every character from the first movie amazingly returned. Same actors, and they play different roles. I mean, for the most part, the doctor is basically the same character.
Yeah, still a douchebag.
Yeah, I mean, they are still kind of the same characters, but they do have some differences. They play this pretty well. They're fairly entertaining. I do like the addition of Ryan being a bigger character. Ryan's a pretty good character in this movie. His two nerdy friends are also okay, but yeah, I think the characters are the strongest part of this film. I did enjoy it. I did think that it wasn't as good as the first,
Yeah,
but
sequels really rarely are though.
rarely. Yeah, there's a couple that will stand out, but
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy this one as much as I liked the first one. But I still enjoyed it. I still had fun with it. I would definitely, as I said earlier, recommend watching this back to back though. I wouldn't watch the first one and then wait a while and then watch the second one
Like
because you're going to
me.
get lost. I mean, it does recap the first one at the beginning,
Yeah.
but it's better just to watch them back to back. You're going to get more of an appreciation for the movie. I think you're going to like it more too if you watch them back to back.
Yeah. So it was a good thing that we watched the first one again last week.
Yes.
So that really helped. But what else? Any other thoughts, Michael?
No. I mean, I think you know that this is going to probably be not the most lighthearted movie that we cover on the channel, but probably the most expensive. I would say made for $9 million.
Yeah, so definitely not in our low budget niche, but you know,
know,
like we said last week, given it's our birthday weeks, we figured why the heck not.
Also, it's our podcast. We're allowed to make exceptions, whatever we want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, if we cover a film, yeah, you guys can you feel free to leave a comment telling us we suck. It's fine.
Exactly. Nobody puts us in a box.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, come on. We just reviewed Bad Taste a couple weeks ago, and it was something.
It was bad taste.
It was bad taste. $25,000 is probably about as well. No, we do have Thanksgiving for spoilers for the end of the year. That was made for $4,000. So,
okay.
Yeah. So Rachel's going to have a lot of fun with that one. Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. We're going to go into our rating system now for it. So Rachel, how would you rate Happy Death Day as a vacation?
Okay, so I went back and forth on this before we started recording. Let me just preface by saying I've never been to Bangkok, but like,
Okay,
in
way to start.
movies, they always like every time someone's like, "Yeah, I've been to Bangkok," it's always like a wild story, right? Like The Hangover, and there's a couple other ones, but I don't. The Hangover is the one that sticks out, but it's like taking a trip to Bangkok, and you're there to have a good time, and it's just freaking wild. Like you don't know what's gonna happen, and it's just a wild time. And then you come out of it, and you're like, "Whew, let's not do that again. It was a good time, but let's not do that again." But yeah, that's how I would rate this.
Okay.
What about you, Michael?
So I'll give a general kind of vacation, and then I'll give you a specific example after. So you know how when you're about to go on vacation, you have a lot of expectations for how the vacation is going to go.
Yeah.
Especially if it's somewhere you've been before. Say this is somewhere you've been before, and you are expecting it to go a certain way. Well, when you get there, it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go.
Okay.
You still have fun, but it's not the same experience.
Right.
So I went to Myrtle Beach 10 years ago with my friend, and we had a blast. We had a really good time. I was also 18 at the time, so completely different experience from when I went this year at 28, 10 years later.
Legally able to drink.
Yeah, legally able to drink and go out. So my expectations for Myrtle Beach were different because of that other difference, and going with different people makes the experience different. So I was expecting one thing, and I got a completely different experience. Still liked it, still had fun, but it's not the same thing.
No, I get that.
So
your ratings are always so much better than mine. Hey, you just come up with these on the fly.
Yeah,
it's not just even fair.
Pulling this right out of my ass. So would you recommend this to anyone to watch?
Yes, I would. I mean, no, yeah, I would recommend it.
To a casual fan,
Yeah, to a casual person, not someone who's expecting a horror movie. But like you said, if you're wanting like a good to binge watch, like a movie series or whatever, this would be a good one to watch, especially around your birthdays.
yeah, it's a good double feature to kill
Yeah.
some time on. It's not, and it's definitely for a more mainline audience. This is not bad taste.
Yeah.
This is not The Hollow.
Yeah, no, this is not for someone looking for a low budget movie where you're expecting bad acting or, just strangeness.
I mean, it is strange, but the acting's great.
Right, but I mean, as far as like the actual recording of the movie, the film and the acting and the writing, low budget's strange.
Yes.
That is
100%.
perfect word for it. So, not just somebody who's looking for that, but like main culture. Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. We do recommend this to a mainline audience. So if that's you out there, give Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to you a watch. But until next time, we are the Undead Celluloid Society. I'm Michael.
And I'm Rachel.
And thank you guys for listening.